Welcome, everybody. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. And today is Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. It's 3 p.m. and we are in conference room 225. Prior to beginning today's hearing, I need to make a few housekeeping announcements. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event we have sorry. This meeting being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 3 p.m. on Friday, February 11th in this room, 225. And a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I just wanted to note for the testifiers that we do have a 2-minute time limit for your testimony, and we will be enforcing this. Okay. We will begin with Senate Bill 2709. This is related to contractors. Begin with testimony. I guess Tim Lyons, Subcontractors Association of Hawaii. Tim? Is he on?
Not present, Chair.
Thank you. Candice Ito, Contractors Licensing Board.
Good afternoon, Chair Tanibuchi. This is Candice. I'm Candice Ito. I'm the Executive Officer for the Contractors License Board. Unfortunately, my board member, Mia Arita, is not able to make it. The board is submitting comments because it hasn't had a chance to discuss this particular measure at a board meeting. So I will stand on our written testimony.
Thank you, Candice.
Thank you.
Arnold Wong for the Ironworkers Stabilization Fund.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon again, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Arnold Wong with the Ironworkers Stabilization Fund in support of this bill, strong support. This bill that's added was just number one is we're codifying the language from the DC 50 case and the Hawaii administrative rules. The second part is we just wanted to put some number in there because right now there is no number and the Contractor License Board is using less than a majority, which is 49%, which we think is outrageous. You know, we know they're not using it, but we have bad contractors out there that are using it for their own advantage. And RICO can't even use, go down and hit them because they're not doing anything correct. So RICO has that problem. So we're saying, put some number in there to say, hey, it's only specialty contractors work and the work that's done by the special contractors, not the entire project. So that's all we're saying is, let's codify the rules and the DC 50 case and add some numbers. That's all, Chair. Thank you for this time to testify, and I'm here for any questions or comments.
Thank you. We've also received testimony from the Department of Planning and Permitting, Mr. Uchida, the director, as well as from the General Contractors Association of Hawaii, both testimonies in opposition. Do we have any questions from members? How many? Senator Favela and Ihara are also on. Anybody else? Okay, questions from members on this bill? If not, thank you. We'll proceed to the next bill. Senate Bill 3289 related to Hawaii retirement savings. This establishes the Hawaii Retirement Savings Program in Hawaii. Here we have Caroline Carriero from the Executive Office of Aging.
Good afternoon, Senator Taniguchi and members of the committee. My name is Caroline Carriero. I'm the Director of the Executive Office on Aging. And I'm so sorry, I thought I started my video. Hold on, there we go. Good afternoon. EOA stands in support on the intent of the retirement savings program and is offering comments. You know, some of us are fortunate enough to be working and earning enough money to invest in things like long-term care insurance, or we have employers that invest in a retirement program for us. However, there are individuals that aren't fortunate enough to have access to employer-sponsored retirement plans. And this bill is going to address those individuals. And this program will provide those workers the opportunity to prepare for their future so that they can live with peace of mind in their retirement years. While we defer to Budget and Finance regarding the implementation of the program, we strongly support the intent of this measure. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks.
Next, we have the Department of Labor Industrial Relations Director Ann Pereira Estacio.
Good afternoon, Chair Taniguchi, Vice Chair Ikara, and members of the Senate Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. Ann Eustachio, Director, Department of Labor. The department stands on its written testimony in support of the intent of Senate Bill 3289. And thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Ann. Let's see. Next, we have Department of Budget and Finance, Craig Hirai.
Good afternoon, Chair, committee members. I'm Craig Hirai, Director of Finance. You have our written testimony with comments and some concerns. Our principal and main concern is a lack of positions in the bill. We do not have, we notice there's an appropriation, but there are no positions, and we do not have the staff to start up this program. With all due respect, Senator.
Okay, we'll put that in for you then.
Okay, and like I say, we'll stand. Otherwise, we'll stand on our written testimony. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. I believe next we have Barbara Craig. Barbara.
Members of the committee, hold on. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Frigg. I'm a retired Hawaii resident. I was able to retire because I have three primary sources of income: Social Security, the state ERS pension, and then individual retirement savings, primarily from 401k plans at various employers. Without all three of those sources, I would not be retired today. Without even two of the three, I would not be able to remain in my home after retirement. I'm one of the very fortunate Hawaii residents with multiple sources of income in retirement from my employers. However, more than 200,000 Hawaii workers are not so fortunate and have neither option. This bill would offer those individuals the opportunity that they now lack. As a matter of equity, they deserve this opportunity. I'd also like to comment on the structure of the proposed retirement savings program. And this is based on my experience on the Board of Trustees of Hawaii's Deferred Compensation Plan, which is the optional retirement savings plan offered to most state employees and most county employees. That plan, like this one, was created in statute, and it is overseen by a Board of Trustees, including the Director of Budget and Finance. Having served on that committee for 3 years, I can tell you that the plan has been very, very successful. The plan is self-supporting. And at this point, it even has 2 state positions that are now fully funded by the plan to coordinate the services of the outside plan administrator and the outside investment advisor. I also know from experience on that plan that even with state employees, county employees having both Social Security and ERS pension, many thousands of public employees still elect to participate in that additional and optional savings plan. And I think that the experience there is you can never have too many opportunities for employees. We also know from other states' experiences that the program can be successful. And we also know now from the decision in the California court case that neither the state nor the employers are subject to any liability under ERISA, the Federal Employee Retirement Income Security Act. I understand there have
Barbara,
been.
you gotta summarize.
All right, so in summary, I do believe that the program of payroll deduction retirement savings is very, very important for those employers who do not yet offer it and those employees who need to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Next, we have John D'Amato. John?
Excuse me. Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to testify. I'm an attorney in private practice. I practice in the area of employee benefits for the last 30 years, and I support this bill. I know that the expense and burdens of retirement plans, maintaining retirement plans, put them out of reach of very many employers. And this bill creates an inexpensive and unburdensome way for employers to for employees to create retirement funds, which they will sorely need in their later years. Otherwise, I'm going to stand on my testimony. I've submitted written testimony and supplemented that, and I'm available for any questions you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Next, we have Carl Takamura.
Good afternoon, Senator and members of the committee. My name is Carl Takamura, and I'm here to strongly support Senate Bill 3289. I believe that enabling more people to save for their retirement through some kind of automatic payroll deduction plan is very, very important, and it's been proving to work in Oregon and many other states. While it is true that individuals can currently establish and contribute to a retirement savings program on their own, many do not. The fact is only 1 in 20 people will go out on their own to do the research and complete the process to set up IRAs for themselves. More importantly, studies show that workers are 15 times more likely to save for their future if they can save through payroll deduction at work. In addition, other states have included provisions in their plans that prohibit employers who currently have existing plans from participating in these programs. Thus, state facilitated programs pose no threat to the private financial service industry. And actually, as Oregon has showed, there's been growth in new accounts as some employers have opted to establish their own retirement savings program for their workers instead of joining in the state facilitated plan. So we feel that this is kind of a win-win program for everyone, and we strongly urge your support and passage of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Next, we have Kathleen Wyatt.
Not present, Chair.
Okay, next we have Audrey Suga Nakagawa.
Yes, good afternoon, Senator and members of the committee. I'm Audrey Suga Nakagawa, and actually I'm submitting my testimony as an individual, and of course I'll defer to Kelly Lopez to do the ARP's official testimony. But I wanted to express my appreciation for the Senate to hear this bill and the task force for doing such a great job. I stand on my written testimony in support of this bill and really emphasizing the merits of the automatic IRA model that has been recommended by the task force. As already been stated, we know that it's been very successful in Oregon, Illinois, in California, and to date they have over 430,000 accounts that have been opened, valued at over $408 million. 10 other states in the city of Seattle is also moving in this direction. Others have suggested that Hawaii perhaps should look at the Federal Secure Act and some other tax credit programs. And these are all wonderful initiatives that's been done by the feds, but just let's be really clear here. It's programs that are complementary to what the states are already doing, and it just doesn't have the same type of impact and significant reach in trying to engage people to save. So, it can coexist with what we're trying to do here in Hawaii. And so just want to be sure that, we recognize that in fact, ARP National has supported the Secure Act when it was being passed in 2019. And they're all welcome efforts. I think we all have to do it collaboratively, but by far the automatic IRA model is is probably the most effective model, and it's been demonstrated. And this is why it's the preferred choice for many states that are right now in progress of developing and establishing that. So we look forward to seeing it being set up here in Hawaii. So thank you so much, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Audrey. Next, we have Tina Yamamaki, President of the Retail Merchants of Hawaii.
Aloha and good afternoon. I'm Tina Yamamaki
Hello.
with Retail Merchants of Hawaii. We support the intent of this bill. I think for most retailers, we would like to, offer all of our employees, big paychecks, all of these great things, retirement plans, pay for their education and all of these other kind of stuff. But the reality is the smaller business have a big concern about what are the true costs that the employers is going to be put on the employers to administer this. I mean, right now, a lot of them did not have a good Christmas or holiday season. They're still struggling from the pandemic. We're seeing now more and more people just giving up and just going online. And that way, you don't have as many employees either, or just people just closing their doors. And I think for a lot of the small businesses, legislature has already said that they're looking at raising the minimum wage. We don't know at what cost that's going to be, but that is going to be a cost to the retailers as well. And so those are some of the concerns, especially regarding the smaller businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. AARP Hawaii, Kelly Lopez, State Director.
Members of the Senate Committee on Labor and Culture and Arts. Kaylee E. Lopez, State Director for ARP Hawaii, and we are absolutely 100% supportive of this legislation. Want to thank you, Senator Taniguchi, and the Senate for consistently supporting the idea of Hawaii's workers being able to have a way to retire, to save for retirement. We know from the pandemic that many kupuna struggle during this period of time, but it's also an ongoing issue for many, many workers. And so I want to be clear that this is not just about those who are already retired, but really for our children and grandchildren who need to save for their retirement. What's key behind all of this is legislation that is designed to help Hawaii's over 200,000 employees and their families be able to have a more secure future for retirement. In this way, we're clear, the studies show people are 15% more likely to save if they're able to have savings through their employer. And so the task force that you set up, Senator Taniguchi, did its work this past summer, recommended this particular legislation, and we think it puts the state in a really good situation. Again, this is all about allowing and enabling a easy, fair process for working families to be able to save for retirement. Again, many who work for small employers do not have that ability to do that through their employer. There are those who say, well, anyone can open one up right now on your own, and they can, but only 1 in 20 people will do that. For anyone to continue somehow advocating for the status quo has no sense of what that means for Hawaii's future. More and more, luckily, people live a long time here in Hawaii. Many of us are going to live into our 80s, 90s, and if not hundreds.
Right.
And
Kelly, you gotta summarize.
Okay, we're going to need that care. And the other thing that we've heard is people saying people are too poor to save. Congress's GAO did a study in 2016, and they found that 64% of low-income households would save if given the opportunity. Thank you. Did save, sorry. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tom Yamachika, Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Tom Yamachika, no?
Not responding, Chair.
Technical difficulties.
Move on, come back.
Okay. Tom, you know for this? Okay. Well,
After this, if you want, you could go get up, otherwise.
yeah, no need. Okay, try to find Tom in the matrix. Next we have Gary Simone, Policy Advisory Board for Elderly Affairs.
Thank you, Chair Taniguchi, Vice Chair Ihara, and members of the committee. Good afternoon. I'm Gary Simon with I am the current chair of the State's Policy Advisory Board for Elder Affairs, commonly known by its acronym PABIA. I just want to make PABIA is in strong support of this bill. I just need to make one point in my testimony. I want to emphasize some opponents of the bill are arguing that a financial literacy and education program would be enough to increase retirement savings. However, research by the Pew Charitable Trust and its work with many states over the years has found that financial education on its own has not consistently shown the ability to increase savings or financial well-being. So this vehicle proposed in this legislation has PABIA's full support, and we hope that it passes. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Gary. We'll go back to, we found Tom Yamachika. Tom?
Yes, thank you, Chair, members. I am here. I've submitted written testimony. We kind of generally agree with the Budget and Finance that a more measured approach is called for. We're very worried that we don't want the same fiasco as what happened with the individual development accounts in the 7 years that the individual developments accounts had lasted. We benefited maybe 10 taxpayers, and they got a credit of $3,000 for all those years. So we want to make sure that we have market uptake for this before we actually do it. Otherwise, the transaction cost will be definitely not worth it. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom. Next, we have Cynthia Takenaka for the NAIFA Hawaii.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. I represent the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. We would like to share our concerns regarding this measure. On page 1 of the testimony, although the report noted that the employers have minimal responsibilities, and we don't quite agree with that, because even though the employers are not liable, the civil penalties and the fines on page 22 of the bill seem to be rather harsh. And I just found out today that the fines and penalties in this bill for employers are higher than other states that have implemented this program. This program will also take 2 years to implement. The first year is $800,000. Years thereafter is approximated at $650,000 to operate. Pew found that the cash flow positive will be in year 7 and net positive in year 11. The loan will probably come from state's general funds, and repayments could fall back on taxpayers, as noted on the top of page 2 of my testimony. So we still feel that state resources for education and outreach should be done before implementing this costly state-run program. Our information tells us that 43 states have considered and rejected this legislation or similar legislation. And we agree that the nation is not adequately prepared, but the Secure Act was passed in 2019 by Congress. Highlights of the measure is on page 2 and 3 of my testimony. And Congress is currently working on Secure 2.0, but they have to clear the BBB initiative first. Other concern is the Alice household and low-income workers that could get disqualified from their government benefits and subsidies, since these kinds of retirement accounts will be considered assets and could trigger income tests and disqualify them from their benefits. We
Okay, you
also
gotta
think
summarize.
Yep,
Get this
language should be included to prohibit current employers from exiting their plan and joining the state plan. And one final thing, the California lawsuit is now sitting with the US Supreme Court, and we expect some kind of ruling to happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Okay, we have a number of other, I guess, so we had, probably have another, another 15 testimonies in support, one more in opposition, and 2 more, I believe, submitting comments on this bill, and they'll be made part of the record. Do we have any questions from? Are there any questions from members? Questions from members on this bill? If not, yeah, Senator Ihara has to go to another hearing for decision making, so he'll be back. Okay, if not, I guess Chair had a question. I guess the best person might be Kelly Lopez to ask. I guess there was testimony that the fines are higher than in other states. Is that your understanding?
We can take a look at that, Senator. I think maybe the concern really is around the penalties that employers have in general here within the state, and actually DLIR might be able to respond to some of that as relates to an employer collecting the funds from an employee's paycheck and then not remitting it to, say, for example, the state or the federal government. So it's looking at those types of issues where a employer does deduct the funds from an employee's paycheck, but does not remit that payment. So the degree to which that maybe should be more in alignment with existing state laws related to some of those other areas, or something that we could look at and would be open to discussing with DLIR.
Okay. Any other questions? I think only Senator Favela and I are here, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, no other questions. We'll proceed. Thank you. To the next bill. This is Senate Bill 3316 relating to family leave. It provides employees with up to 8 weeks of paid family leave. Establishes a program. Testifying, we have the Department of Labor Industrial Relations, Director Estaquio.
Good afternoon, Chair and Senator Favela. Ann Eustaquio, Department of Labor Director. The department appreciates the intent of this measure. However, the department opposes the measure as drafted and stands in our written testimony. I have a team here of experts from the department if there are any questions, and thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Ann. Hawaii Government Employees Association, Michelle Kurihara. HGEA? Oh, okay, they're not on. Hawaii Restaurant Association, Victor Lim. I saw Victor earlier.
Hi, good afternoon, Senators. This is Victor Lim with the Hawaii Restaurant Association, representing about 3,400 restaurants here in the state. We stand opposed to this because since the pandemic, 2 years into it, our restaurants are still struggling to keep their doors open amid a surge in coronavirus cases, record inflation, labor shortage, and humongous supply chain delays. We feel that it will take us well into 2023 for our businesses to normalize, and provided that we don't face another COVID variants. Many legacy restaurants like Liki Liki Drive-In to 12th Avenue Grill have closed. And those restaurants that are still in operation today are barely surviving on shoestring margins. I cannot stress the concern from many of our members that they are really on a shoestring budget. So we really encourage to postpone implementing any new programs that will cause additional administrative as well as cost increases to our businesses. We are hurting and we just cannot take any more mandates and costs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. HSTA, Laverne Moore.
Aloha, Chair and
Aloha.
members of the committee. I'm Laverne Moore speaking on behalf of the Hawaii State Teachers Association President Osa Tui Jr. The Hawaii State Teachers Association supports Senate Bill 3316. Teachers are fortunate to be covered by a collective bargaining agreement that provides paid sick leave. Over 40% of Hawaii's workforce are not afforded the same benefit. As a result, workers are often required to choose between providing for their families or by working while sick or enduring a loss of income to recuperate. Families also must decide whether or not to send sick children to school or stay home and lose a day of pay. For low-income families, this financial bind can mean the difference between providing food or going hungry. To better care for our families living paycheck to paycheck, the Hawaii State Teachers Association asks your committee to support this bill. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Laverne. Next, we have Retail Merchants of Hawaii, Tina Yamamaki.
Aloha again. We are in opposition to this bill. A lot of employers are already affording a lot of their employees time off for sick care and all of that. We also want to point out that there's a difference between TDI and family leave. Family leave is when someone else in your family is sick, and TDI is when the employee themselves are sick. You know, we already mandated, we're the only state that mandates medical insurance coverage for our employees. So that's already covered. And we also wanted to point out that, yes, it is going to cost us a lot more if you do paid family leave, because TDI is calculated based on payroll-based wages. And then if somebody is out of work, we have to put somebody else in. So now we're paying double wages there. Retailers can't afford that right now. A lot of them did not have a good holiday season, as I mentioned before. You know, and I know in the past hearings, you know, it was mentioned that a lot of European countries have all of this paid time off. But I want to point out, a lot of countries, in order to pay for this, 50% of the person's paycheck goes to taxes in order to pay for paid family leave. And I know this because my family is from Europe, and my cousin actually works in, I guess, what is their equivalent to our state, our national capital. And she's the attorney for the Department of Labor there. So just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Next, we have Nicole Wu from the Hawaii Children's Action Network.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Thank you, Chair, for hearing this bill and for sponsoring this bill to draw attention to the need for paid family leave. We might have heard in the news, the January jobs numbers in this country were great, but not for women. And the analysis is that the lack of leave and childcare, but leave is part of it, because if they have a sick child or a sick family member, they just can't go to work. We are also potentially losing working age parents because they know if they go to a place like California, they'll get paid family leave. And it's a real calculation on their part when they are trying to figure out where they can afford to live. And also for small businesses, they can't compete for the prime workers because, again, if a young couple is having a child and they think, well, you know, at this bigger company, they offer paid leave, then it's the mom and pop shops who lose the good workers because it's an uneven playing field when it's just a voluntary program. One thing, though, in our testimony, we have a table that compares side by side the differences between this model of temporary disability insurance, adding this on to the TDI system, versus the social insurance model, which is the automatic payroll deduction, kind of similar to the last bill, or Medicare or Social Security, where it's a state-run payroll deduction. That's actually a lot easier for small employers, less administration. It's just another thing that, you know, ADP or another payroll service does for you. So I recommend that you take a look at that table. And there is a bill that does use the social insurance model for paid family leave, the automatic payroll deduction run by the state. That's SB 2312. So I recommend either hearing that bill or looking at some of that language and seeing how you can adjust this bill to make it a little bit more efficient for small businesses to implement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii, Trevor Abakuza.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. The Chamber does not support Senate Bill 3316, and I want to echo the concerns of the Retail Merchants and Restaurant Association. Given the pandemic and the struggles that many of our businesses are facing, they need time to stabilize before imposing any additional operational restraints. Many businesses that we've talked to and polled are already offering paid leave programs for attracting and retaining their workforce, especially in today's job market post-COVID, where it's very competitive to retain workers. So a lot of companies already offer this. So we believe a one-size-fits-all mandate is not the way to go to solve this issue. And the Chamber believes we need government policies and relief to help create an environment to bring in new businesses and bring in new industries rather than placing mandates on our current companies here. Thank you for the time to testify and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Trevor. We have the Hawaii Food Industry Association, Lauren Zerbel.
Good morning or good afternoon, Chair. I'm Alexis Chapman for HFIA. We're in opposition to this measure. As some of the previous testifiers have indicated, we're very concerned about the impacts that this would have on our local businesses. Another substantial increase in labor costs, especially this year when we've just barely started the recovery process from COVID. And I will be available for questions.
Thank you. Okay, we've also received testimony from a number of other people. So probably 20 others, including those who support, oppose, and have provided comments. So we will proceed to questions from members. Do you have any questions? Questions from members? If not, we will recess the public hearing and go into a breakout room. Welcome back. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. We are in decision-making on 3 bills that we heard starting at 3 p.m. The first bill up for decision-making is Senate Bill 2709 relating to contractors. This is a bill we've been working on off and on for a number of years now. We have proposed some language that helps to clarify what we're talking about. But we understand the parties are still somewhat far apart. We will defect the date to promote further discussion. We'll make any technical and non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. And amendments we'll make to the existing bill are to amend measure incidental supplemental work by the cost and extent of work involved in executing the specialty contractor's work. And will amend to require unlicensed work of the specialty contractor to be substantially less than and only incidental and supplemental to the licensed work. That's our attempt at trying to clarify the language. I think that's it. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the recommendation to pass Senate Bill 2709 with amendments as stated. Chair Taniguchi.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang is excused. Senator Kyoho Kalori is excused. Senator Favela.
Aye.
The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Senate Bill 3289. This is relating to the Hawaii retirement savings. Chair is going to recommend that we pass this bill with amendments. We'll amend to authorize the retirement savings program to enter interstate contracts with other state retirement savings programs. We will amend appropriation in section 4 to include authorization for hiring of necessary staff. We will make other technical non-substantive amendments for purposes of clarity and consistency. We will also, in the committee report, we'll reflect that we need to probably take another look at the fines, the fine structure. And I guess we'll ask Ways and Means to take a look at the fine structure based on the testimony that they're harsher in other states, I guess. So ask them to take a look at that. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass Senate Bill 3289 with amendments. For the 3 members present, any objections or reservations? The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Last bill, Senate Bill 3316 relating to family leave. Chairs are going to recommend we pass with amendments, primarily to promote further discussion. So we'll have a defective date. I'm sorry, we'll probably, yeah. Oh, no defective date, sorry. We want to promote further discussion. We'll make the effective date of July 1st, 2022, provided that sections 1 through 27 shall be effective on July 1st, 2024. So give, I guess, the department an opportunity to work on setting up this system. And I guess we will include, we need to include a section for positions. Yeah, so we'll include a section for positions and make the number blank at this point. I think that's it. We'll make other technical non-substantive amendments for purposes of clarity. Oh, okay. We'll also delete reference to establishment and maintenance of a family leave data collection system. On page 35, lines 13 through 15. Anything else? Is that good? Okay. Yeah, I said. Okay, any discussion, members? Pass with amendments? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass Senate Bill 3316 with amendments. Any reservations or objections to the recommendation? The recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you, members. I think that's it, staff. We're good? Okay. Recess. Thank you.